All right, good afternoon, Path of Stars. This is Miss Van Tile, and I hope the video yesterday helped you out. So today's video is going to be over lesson 13 -2. And this is writing those numerical expressions. Yesterday we were solving the numerical expressions. So really the only difference is that first we're going to have to write the expressions first and then solve. The main operations we're going to be using today are parentheses, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. All right, so let's get started, shall we? So question number 1, it talks about how a baker packages 12 cupcakes to a box. Sean orders 5 boxes for her sister's graduation party and then 3.5 boxes for the variety show party. It says to write an expression to show how to find the number of cupcakes that Sean ordered. So our first step here is we're going to have to figure out how many boxes. They're asking for the number of cupcakes, but first we need to figure out how many boxes he ordered. And the way we're going to have to do that is by adding the total number of boxes that he did order. So 5 plus 3 is 8, and then 5/10 plus 0/10 is still 5/10. Okay, so this is how many boxes that he ordered. So we know that there are 8.5 boxes, and then we'll have to multiply that by the total number of cupcakes in each box to figure out how many cupcakes there were actually ordered. So the way that we haven't multiplied decimals for a while, so let's go through this example really quick. Hopefully this looks familiar. If we look at 8.5, we see that there is one digit past the decimal point, and then in 12, we see that there are 0 decimal points. So what that just means is that after we're done multiplying, we'll have to make sure that there is one digit after our decimal point. So let's go ahead and multiply. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17. Then I add my 0 for my placeholder. 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 8 is 8. So let's go ahead and add these up. 0 plus 0 is 0, 7 plus 5 is 12, 8 plus 2, 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So here it looks like I have 1,020. However, I need to come back up here, and remember I need to put one digit past my decimal. So the answer is there are 102 cupcakes that Sean had to order. Now, they were just asking us to write an expression. We just kind of took it. We're just overachievers, and we just went ahead and solved it. So if you'll notice, the first operation that we had to do was we had to multiply, and then, the first, yikes. The first operation we had to do was add, and then we had to multiply. However, when we look at our PEMDAS, there we go. If we look at our PEMDAS, the way that we have this expression written out right here, it shows that we would have had to multiply first and then do our addition. So what we're going to do in order to make this expression true is we're going to add parentheses. Because any operation done in that is in parentheses has to be done first. Obviously, because that's what the P stands for in PEMDAS. So this kind of goes along with that example. The school auditorium has 546 seats on the main floor and 102 seats in the balcony. If every seat is full for every show, we need to write an expression that shows the calculations we could use to determine how many tickets were sold. Now, this example is actually included in your assignment for today. I just wanted to clarify anything. So the first thing like I said, this is actually in your assignment for today. Just wanted to go over it in more detail. So again, they want us to write an expression that shows the calculations we could use to determine how many tickets were sold. So the first thing that we need to do is figure out how many total seats there are in the auditorium. And we know that there are 546 seats on the main floor and then 102 seats in the balcony. So that's how many. So when we add those two together, that'll give us the total number of seats in the auditorium, which is, there we go. So there are 648 seats total in the auditorium. And they're saying that every seat is full for every show. And if we look at the poster, we see that there are 4 shows in total. There's one on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. So again, similar to the cupcakes, after we found the total number of seats, we need to multiply that by the total number of shows. 19. So altogether, there were 2,592 tickets that were sold. But again, they want an expression that shows the calculations that we used. So the first operation that we used was addition, and then the second operation we used was multiplication. Now, the way that we have it written right here, it does not follow our order of operations because addition usually comes after multiplication. So the way that we make sure that our addition comes before multiplication is by adding those parentheses. So there's the expression that we could use to figure out how many tickets were sold. All right, so not every example that we do, or not every question that you'll have to answer is a story problem. Some of them are literally just going to say add 8 and 7 and then multiply by 2. So again, we're literally just going to, we need to follow these directions though. So the first thing that they're telling us to do is to add 8 and 7 and then multiply by 2. Okay, cool. So, however, this is not written, if we do solve this, the way this is written, the way we would have to solve this is we would have to first multiply. Because again, and according to our order of operations, multiplication comes before addition. But if we look back up here, they want us to add 8 and 7 first. So in order to add 8 and 7 first, we're going to have to add those parentheses. So now anything in the parentheses needs to be done before multiplication. So adding the parentheses puts this in the correct order. All right, and then next example, it says to find triple the difference between 44 and 75 hundredths and 22 and 8 tenths. So again, we're literally just going to go in order. So it says to find triple. When we are finding the triple of something, we are multiplying by 3. Just like how when we want to double something, we multiply by 2. And then they want to find triple the difference between 44 and 75 tenths and 22 and 8 tenths. Now again, they're asking us to find triple of this difference. They don't want us to find triple of 44 and 75 hundredths and then subtract 22 and 8 tenths. So again, the way to make this correct is I would have to add the parentheses so that I'm finding the difference first and then finding triple of that difference. All right, in our next example, it says to multiply 4 times 7/8. So again, let's multiply 4 times 7/8 and then to add 12. So what's nice about this example is that it follows our order of operations. Our multiplication needs to happen before the addition. And just again up here, our multiplication is coming before our addition. So this one is all set. If you want, you could also still add the parentheses because again, whatever operation is inside of the parentheses is what needs to be done first. All right, and then the next one, it says that we need to add 49. So adding 49 to the quotient of 125 and 5. Now looking at when we're finding the quotient, we are doing the operation of division, and we are dividing 125 by 5. Now, unlike the previous example, this one has us adding before we divide. But again, the division needs to take place first. So the division does need to take place first. However, we still work from left to right. So we don't need the parentheses. Sorry, after I started explaining it, my bad, I realized that it is actually correct the way that we left it, because even though they're asking us to add 49 to the quotient, based on the order of operations, we would still do our division first before we do the addition. Again, if you want, you can add the parentheses, because whatever operation is in the parentheses needs to be done first. So these next couple examples that we go through are going to help you with your quick check for today, your 13-2 quick check. So this is very similar to question number 1. I'm just using different numbers. So it says to select all of the expressions that are equivalent to the following calculation. It says to add 73 and 27 and then multiply by 6. So before I even start going through my options, the first thing I see is that it says select all. So I know there's going to be more than one answer. But before I even start going through my options, I want to write the expression myself so that I can compare it to my options. So it says that I need to add 73 and 27 and then multiply by 6. So this is not written correctly. So I do need to add the parentheses here as well, because again, it's telling me to add 73 and 27 and then multiply by 6. So I need to look through my options and figure out which two are similar. I need to figure out which two of my options show this same expression. So if we look at A, we see 73 plus 27 multiplied by 6. Yep, that's great and dandy. However, this does not follow the correct order. This would have had to multiply 6 by 27 and then add 73. But they're asking us to add 73 and 27, then multiply by 6. If we look at B, we see that it's 6 multiplied by 73 plus 27 in parentheses. So this is one of our options, because again, we're adding 73 and 27 first and then multiplying by 6. Option C is not an answer, because again, we have to multiply first before we can add. And here with option D, this is not an option, because they're not asking us to add 73 and 6. They're asking us to add 73 and 27 and then multiply by 6. So since it says select all, we know that E also is an option, because again, the parentheses we're adding 27 and 73 and then multiplying by 6. All right, question number 2. This is actually going to help you with I believe it's question number 3 on your quick check. But for question number 2 on your quick check, you can use the other examples in this video to help you out. So let's read this example. So the cost to rent a paddle boat at the park is $9 plus another $10 per hour. We need to write an expression, don't judge me, that shows how you could calculate the total cost to rent the boat for 6 hours. So what we know for sure is that there's a flat rate of $9 to rent the boat. Now what's going to change is so it's $10 per hour, and we're renting the boat for 6 hours. So the first thing we're going to have to do is multiply those two to figure out how many more dollars we're going to have to spend. So, there we go. So, we know that that's going to equal $60, and then $60 plus the original $9 for the boat. Altogether, you'll be paying $69. But again, they want us to write an expression. Sorry, we're overachieving and solving our expression. So we know that it's going to be $9 plus the $10 for 6 hours. Again, this is written, the way that it's written right now is fine because again, we'd have to do this multiplication before we do our addition. However, if you wanted to add it around the multiplication, just as a reminder to do that first, that's cool too. It's entirely up to you, whichever way is going to help you remember the order of operations. All right, and then this is our last one. And again, this is actually going to help you with number 5 on your quick check. For number 4 on your quick check, what I would recommend doing is writing the expression yourself first, and then go back and compare your answer with your A, B, C, and D options, and then go from there. I believe in you. Y'all can do it, okay? So question number 3, is to write an expression for the following calculation. It says to multiply the difference between 63 and 8 by 15. So we need to find the difference between these two numbers and then multiply by 15. So again, when we're finding the difference, we're subtracting. So we know that we're going to have to subtract 8 from 63, and then we're going to have to multiply that by 15. Okay? Because again, if we had left it without parentheses, what this would have done, based on the order of operations, I would have had to multiply 8 by 15 and then subtract that from 63. But that's not what they're asking for. They wanted us to multiply the difference of 63 and 8 by 15. So again, adding those parentheses makes sure that I'm finding the difference first and then multiplying. So I know this video is a little long today, but I really hope that it helps you again. Be sure to like and subscribe, all that jazz. And I miss you and I believe you guys, and I'm so proud of the work that you're doing so far. I will talk to you soon. Bye.